Vysh IAS. So we'll be continuing with the PLUMS series of polity, governance and schemes today. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing this channel so that you will be getting daily free updates on UPSC. And if you're looking for a good quality test series, then you can contact the number which is given on the screen 7200681675. Okay, let's move on to the first question for today. So the first question reads, how many statements are correct? So the first statement is Motilal Nehru Committee had demanded a Bill of Rights as far as back as in 1928. Now you have to understand that UPSC has been changing the pattern. Okay, so the recent year, the 2022 prelims paper, if you see, the pattern was outrightly changed. So keeping that in mind, we have to prepare ourselves to attempt new kind of questions. So what we'll be doing in the coming episodes, like we'll be taking up many pattern of questions. Okay, we'll be predicting the pattern of questions which can come. Okay, keeping in mind the new level of questions, like 2022 they have asked a certain pattern. So what we'll be doing in the coming years for 2023, 2024, 2025, so in the coming years, what can be the possible patterns of questions? Okay, they can make a lot of patterns of question, and from that we'll be predicting new pattern, we'll be experimenting new kinds of questions, and we'll be working out that, so that in the coming years, if they are changing the pattern also, you will not be in a state of shock, like already you have practiced so much patterns of questions, and if ever they are going to give you a new pattern, you will not be in a shock, you will be in a position to attempt those kind of questions. Okay, so this is like a link between history and polity. Okay, if you know 1928, you have to go to your modern India, there is a something called Nehru report. Okay, so they can link. So in history also there are some aspects of polity. Okay, in economy also there are some aspects of polity, so maybe in the coming years they can frame such kinds of statement. Okay, and wherein the personalities become important. Okay, like Motilal Nehru. Motilal Nehru is a important personality, but not enough to be asked like a statement like this, like an in-depth statement. Okay, based on this Motilal Nehru, this kind of a depth question has been asked. So this can come in coming years. Okay, this is like an example I'm giving. These kind of statements can be framed in the coming years. So here the statement is correct. Okay, then after independence, the constitution listed the rights that would be specifically protected and called them fundamental rights. So this is talking about the evolution of fundamental rights. This is not something which born out all of a sudden. Okay, it has a certain timeline of evolution. So the timeline of evolution, if you trace back, it goes to this Nehru report also. So the second statement is also correct. Third, fundamental rights are protected and guaranteed by the constitution, may only be changed by amending the constitution itself. So this third statement is an easy statement. It's based upon a classic statement from Lakshmikant. So until now we were focusing only upon these kind of statements straightforward from Lakshmikant or your reference materials, but in the coming years you can accept questions even from polity. Polity used to be an easy subject, but in the coming years they can tweak the statements like this. So here you have to understand the difference between the first and second statement and the third statement. Third one is a classic statement, it's a repetitive kind of statement, it is a classic polity statement, whereas 1 and 2, they are new kind of statements. Okay, so always go through this evolution. So understand the subject rather than mugging up, or rather than making easy notes. You have to understand the subject in depth. You have to understand the evolution whenever you are reading a topic like fundamental rights, DPSP, how it is formed and what all links it is having. Okay, so a holistic study, when you are studying polity, you have to keep in mind the links of polity with economy, with what society, all the subjects. Okay, you have to interlink and learn. Okay, so that's what UPSC is expecting from you guys. Okay, so here all the three statements are correct, and the correct answer is C, all three statements are correct. Now come to the next statement, next question. Second question, how many statements are correct? A candidate must be 25 years old for standing in Lok Sabha or assembly election. Yes, this is true. Okay, then a person who has undergone imprisonment for 2 or more years for some offense is disqualified from contesting elections. Okay, this is also a true statement. It has no restriction of income, education or class or gender. So look at this particular statement. It has no restrictions of income, education or class or gender. So immediately on seeing an extreme statement, no, you shouldn't be marking the statement as wrong. because sometimes extreme statements can also be correct. So here in this case, this is a basic data which is given in Lakshmikant, and this is also a correct statement. So here all the 3 statements are correct. All 3 are correct statements. Okay. Now come to the third question. The power of Supreme Court or High Court to examine the constitutionality of any law if the court arrives at the conclusion that law is inconsistent with the provisions of Constitution, such a law is declared unconstitutional and inapplicable. And this particular thing, the described thing, is referred to as, one is judicial review, second is judicial overreach, third is delegated legislation, and fourth is judicial activism. So I have seen many students getting confused by these terms. See, in polity, the word meanings are very, very important. What is constitutionalism? I have repeated in many PLUMS episode. So please, I am repeating it once again so that it gets stuck into your mind. Okay, what is constitution? What is constitutionalism? What is constitutionality? What is government? What is governance? All these terms are important with respect to polity. In not only with respect to prelims but also for the mains. Okay, so these kind of terminologies are very, very important, and it is highly likely that you will be getting a direct question from this. Okay, so if you don't know the clear difference between all these terms, then you're possibly going to mess up with these kind of questions. Okay, so here this one is a classic statement. It is nothing but judicial review. And now today I want you to differentiate between A and D. Okay, what is the difference between judicial review and judicial activism? Okay, both these terms are different. Okay, they are not the same. So I want you to go through the difference between judicial review and judicial activism. Okay, that will be the homework for today. Okay, come to the next question. Which of the following statements are correct with reference to the formation of Indian Constitution? See, these kind of questions are possible in the coming years. It was formally created by a Constituent Assembly between December 1946 and November 1949 and drew upon a long history of the nationalist movement. Okay, so this is like a generalist statement. If you know the timeline, 1946, 1949, apart from this timeline, the whole statement is a generalistic statement. So more likely that this is correct. Okay, so 1 is correct. 2, it had the consensus and backing of the leaders who were themselves popular, and it was never subjected to referendum. Again, never subjected to referendum. Extreme statement, but it's a correct statement. It is like that. Okay, it was never subjected to referendum. Although it sounds a little quirky, it is there. Okay, it is a correct statement. It was never subjected to referendum. Then the people adopted it as their own by abiding to its provisions. Okay, this is also correct statement. So here 1 and 2, both 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, so please go through this question once again, and whenever you see we can't give each and every statements, but what we can give you is like a template. Okay, so what you have to gain from this, by watching this episode, what you have to gain, whenever you see these kind of statements in other portions like parliament, president, everywhere you can see these kind of statements. Okay, so whenever you see, after working out these questions, whenever you see a different pattern, a different question from a different area in the same pattern, you will be able to differentiate that. You have to be able to apply the same logic over there also. Okay, I have done this question, like I have done same pattern of question in the area of Constituent Assembly, so that logic might be applied here also. Okay, that connection you have to establish. Okay, so rather than working out the questions, you have to understand the pattern. Okay, come to the next question. Look, so it is a body of fundamental principles according to which a state is constituted or governed. It allows coordination and assurance. It provides a basic set of rules that allow for minimum coordination amongst the members of a society. Also, this assures that everyone will follow these basic rules. It ensures justiciable nature of fundamental rights, specification of decision-making powers, how the government will be constituted, puts limitations on the powers of government, safeguard from misuse of authority. And the above description refers to another pattern of question. They'll be giving a paragraph and they'll be asking questions. So whenever this paragraph kind of questions is given, you have to search for the keywords here. Principles, fundamental principles according to which a state is constituted. Okay, so fundamental principles and state, these are keywords. Then allows coordination, assurance, then basic rules, minimal coordination. So on the whole, if you are connecting the dots, you'll be getting that this particular description, it refers to nothing but constitution. Okay. So this is a correct answer. So the above description, it is referring to constitution, not democracy, not governance, and not government, because it is not government, because the description is going beyond the scope of government. So not governance also. Democracy, it's a different concept, and it's entirely a different concept, not what's said in this paragraph. Okay. So here the correct answer comes out to be D, which is constitution. Okay. That's the end of today's session. So we'll meet in the next week in the next episode. Until then, stay tuned. Thank you.